Here we go.
And Margaret? Welcome to Mergy Movies. I'm Big Mike.
And I am Justin Fergie-Ferguson.
And it's Oscar month. Oscar. And we brought back the old Mosker from the Mergy movie days.
Oh, man.
So yeah, that sound of running water is not pee. We're just in the basement. So anyway, it's Oscar month.
It is Oscar month.
And us being movie files and whatnot, we watch movies and the shorts and all the other stuff, as much as we can anyway.
Yeah, some are hard to find.
Very much so, as we were evident of tonight. We had some problems finding some, but we found a lot, so it's not too bad.
No.
So yeah, I guess we'll give you our Oscar update. Anyway, so our Oscar update is, so first of all, what have you watched so far? Let's go with that. Like, the viewers don't know what you've watched so far. What have you watched?
So, I have watched most of the animated feature films.
Yes, me as well, yeah.
I think I've seen all the special effects movies.
Oh, yeah, well, most of us have, yeah. But anyway, yeah.
We have watched a good portion of the shorts.
Yes, we have, yeah.
I've seen count them on one hand of the 9 Best Picture films.
So you saw we were talking. I think we talked about last episode. You saw The Arrival, and what else have you seen so far? Then, other than nominated, like there was La La Land. I've seen La La Land.
I have not seen La La Land.
There's Fences. Moonlight.
Let's see.
Sorry, we're having a brain fart here.
Yeah, Fences, Hacksaw Ridge. I'd like to see
Hacksaw Ridge. Yeah, I want to see that. Yeah.
Hidden Figures, La La Land, Lion, Manchester by the Sea, and Moon Knight.
Moon Knight. The movie Moon Knight? I wouldn't mind seeing Moon Knight. Anyway,
no, Moonlight.
Moonlight, yes. No, they all look very interesting, especially, like, I'm really pumped to see The Arrival. I want to see Fences and Hacksaw Ridge. Those are probably my top ones I really want to see.
Yeah, for me, Fences, Hacksaw Ridge, and Hidden Figures are the ones I really want to see.
Hidden Figures, yeah. So, La La Land, I'll just give a quick recap of it. Like, you can, I don't think I posted a review on the page, but if you want to ask me any reviews, you can find me on Facebook, Michael Gosson. I posted a few days ago that I watched La La Land with my wife, and I found it, like, really quick. It's reminiscent of 40s musical, right? Mm-hmm. Like, it's not all, like, there's not music throughout the whole thing. There is dips in and out. I just found, like, it's very nostalgic, and that's why I think Hollywood is nominating it.
Yeah, well, Hollywood loves Hollywood movies that celebrate Hollywood.
It just loves itself. That's all it is, right? But The Arrival, like, so if you could quickly, like, not sum up the plot or anything, but, like, what would you say without any spoilers or anything? Like, what did you love about it the most?
I loved about Arrival was the fact, like, it was a slow burn. It was a real thinking person's science fiction movie. Most science fiction movies nowadays fall into the Star Wars, J.J. Abrams Star Trek realm.
Right.
Where that's all shoot-'em-up space adventures.
Exactly.
More the Flash Gordon than Twilight Zone.
Right.
This is more like a really well-written episode of the Twilight Zone.
Nice. Okay, that's a good sell for me. That's a good sell. Okay, I can go with that. Yeah, I know, like, war movies usually always get nominated. So, yeah, like I say, Hacksaw Ridge. And Mel Gibson directed it.
Yeah, Mel Gibson. I think Mel Gibson has been forgiven because he's a
racist bastard, but I mean,
there aren't many better directors working in Hollywood right now.
Exactly.
And to be honest, nobody does violence better than him.
Oh, that's for sure. Yeah.
You watch his movies, whether you go to The Passion of the Christ or apparently this movie, Hacksaw Ridge, I've heard some reviews saying it's one of the most violent war movies they've seen since Saving Private Ryan.
Yeah, exactly. So like, all is, I mean, maybe all not is fully forgiven, but at the same time, he knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
And it's just like with but like, I mean, for example, you can not like someone the way they perform. Like, say, for example, a musical artist or something, you don't like how they are. Or an actor, for example. Like, I'm not a fan of Bruce Willis as a person,
No.
but I enjoy a lot of his movies. So
Yeah.
and that's what it all comes down to. So, yeah, like, and Fences, I have to say, it just looks raw. Like, it looks like something just like that really just people just poured their heart into.
Yeah.
And I'm really looking forward to seeing that. I mean, I guess that's what Oscars is all about. I mean, Viola Davis, I'm pretty damn certain she'll win, but I mean,
Meryl's in there, so every time Meryl's in there, you've got to she's like Tom Brady in the playoffs.
Yeah.
You know, it's when Meryl's there, you can't count Meryl out.
Yeah, exactly. I'm okay. I mean, I'm not. Hey, she's worth being nominated a lot. But is it getting to the point now where it's
Meryl made a movie. Meryl made a movie. Let's nominate her.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, sure, she's great, but I mean, every time, really, like, there's not one person you can find that's just a step above. I can tell you right now, looking at it, she hasn't been winning all the time, though.
No, she hasn't been.
It's like It's like she has like they made a joke at the Oscars, like, as per contract, Meryl's nominated. Like, they made that joke during the Oscars, right? Yeah. So I mean, it's funny. They make fun of it. So
I could name one person I think should have been in there over her.
What's that?
Amy Adams in Arrival.
Fair enough. Like I said, I haven't seen it yet, but okay.
Amy Adams had, for me, it wasn't maybe the most bombastic performance in the world, but she had to carry one of the smartest movies I've seen in a long time. She is. It's all about her. Okay, the movie revolves around her.
Right.
And the big thing for it is the twist and where it takes you and everything. She has to sell the emotion before and after and not give the reveal away while still showing the emotion. And that's what I give her big props for.
Okay. Yeah, like, I'm hoping to get, like, my main goal is to get through the Best Picture, the animated feature for sure. I'm glad we got a lot of the shorts down, and I would like to finish the shorts. Other than that, everything else is fair game, so I will go probably just whatever I want to see next after that, when it comes to Best Actor, Best Actress, and I'll go from there. When it comes to nominees, I am hoping to get around, like, I know I'll get around to watching Arrival, I know I will. I do hope to get around to watching Meryl Streep's movie. I can't remember the name of it right now.
Florence Foster Jenkins.
Yes, Florence Foster Jenkins. Thank you. Hopefully I do get around to watching it because I would like to see her performance and compare it to everybody else. Because again, I'm not shining her. She's worth a lot of her nominations. I'm just saying, like, it's starting to seem a little ridiculous now.
It is.
Like, I mean, sure, she's, like I say, she's worth it, but it's just a little too much. What else can we say? So here's one thing that we've discussed in the past is that when it comes to categories,
yes,
at the Oscars, now they have a Best Picture, Best Actor, Actress. That's fine, but if you noticed in the sure, sometimes sci-fis get nominated, like, for example, The Arrival.
Yeah.
Horrors sometimes get nominated, like
Silence of the Lambs.
Silence of the Lambs was nominated. Wasn't Green Mile nominated too? Yeah. Not that I would count that as a horror.
It was written by Stephen King, but that's like Shawshank Redemption.
Yeah.
It's one of his books that aren't really horror.
Yeah, and two of some of the best movies ever, by the way. But anyway, sometimes those movies get nominated. But one movie I don't really notice, one category, one genre of movies that I notice don't get nominated as much and is underappreciated is from a comedic standpoint.
Yes, I would say comedy deserves it. The big problem for comedy right now is I think it's in a bit of a lull.
Yeah,
I think, and this isn't a knock, I think Judd Apatow has a lot of really good movies.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But I feel like his style is sort of, he's Michael Bay, the action, like how Michael Bay has sort of created this thing in the action genre,
right,
or personified it or whatever, that's created this sort of chasm that's everything that's wrong with it.
Yeah.
A lot of Judd Apatow's style, where it's just people sort of it's sort of scripted improv. The people standing around, they don't do anything creative with the filming. They don't do anything creative with gags. There's not a whole lot of real physical comedy. It's just, oh, he fell on his face. It doesn't tell you why. It doesn't do anything creative.
Yeah, right. Right.
One guy I can't remember his name. He's the director who works with Simon Pegg and Nick Frost a lot.
Oh shoot! Is it Edgar Wright?
Yeah, Edgar Wright.
Yeah,
Edgar Wright is super creative with his comedy.
Right. I'm kind of I was disappointed when I heard he dropped out of Ant-Man because I would have liked to see what he would.
There's a lot of his stuff that stayed in it though.
Yes, fair enough, and that's why I really liked Ant-Man. So like, is there anything in particular that you remember that they said that stayed in?
I think a lot of the like I know one thing he what's his name his friend that drives the van.
Oh yeah, the Hispanic guy. I can't remember his name right now, but anyway.
I know that character was something that was added by Edgar
nice.
Wright.
Okay, fair enough, and he's enjoyable. So
yeah.
Anyway, like we won't get too much into Marvel and stuff this time, but
or using like the idea of using his like the shrinking and expanding power into a comedic effect. Like with the ant, like the physical ant that blew up to the size of a dog, and the Thomas the Tank Engine that blew over the side of
which
the
is
house.
also some of my favorite parts. So yeah, I guess some
of his stuff stuck in there.
So that's good. Yeah. So no. So it would be good to see a good. It would just be good to see from a comedic standpoint. I guess the only person you could say that gets not consistently, and maybe not in the past couple of years, but nominated a lot for their comedy roles would be Woody Allen. I guess.
Yeah.
His directing.
Yeah. His stuff is sort of what I would call a dramedy, though.
Yes, fair enough.
They're half dramas, half comedies a lot of the time. And his is, he kind of has, well, like, I mean, my big problem with Judd Apatow, it's like, you look at his crew, you know, you've got your...
Seth Rogen.
Paul Rudd, all this. You look at the collection of these guys' movies, they all seem the same. There's not a whole lot of creative storytelling.
Yeah. You know, I would have to say, although like he did he do I Love You Man as well?
I think so.
Yeah, okay, like I do have to say like
he does have a few, like I
Love
Love You Man, really 40-Year-Old Virgin.
Yeah, of course, yeah. Which started them all, 40-Year-Old Virgin and stuff.
And,
Knocked Up.
Knocked Up too.
Yeah, so.
There's definitely like that. And I think comedy, like sometimes kids' movies could get squeezed in there too. Like I look at like one movie I thought maybe not as good as some of the other animated pictures that are in there, but one that sort of gets an honorable mention for me is Trolls.
Trolls, right.
I really enjoyed.
You enjoyed Trolls? Yeah, I didn't really. I wasn't like I'm not going to see it because it looks like shit. I never thought that. Like it looks interesting and stuff, and we never got around to watching it yet. We probably will here soon, but it. I can hear you. Like, so what made you think like you think it'd be worth like nominating for Best Picture? Or
no. Like, if there was a Best Comedy,
right? Oh, okay.
I think it could work its way in there because, it has some. Like it's a kids movie through and through.
Yeah,
it's a kids movie, but it has enough. Like for me, the characters are really well created. They're the actors they chose played them perfectly. Anna Kendrick is kind of my go-to person when you want a really cute character in a movie.
Yeah, right. Yeah, cute and quirky and stuff. Yeah.
So, but it's like the way they play it out, like. You're trying to turn the little trolley dolls from the 90s into a movie. What they did with it was sort of like a perverted version of Smurfs.
Okay.
But it was a lot of fun, actually.
Okay.
And the villains were surprisingly darker than I expected.
Oh, okay. Yeah, like I'll watch it for sure. Why? Like, I guess I'm not saying like the other movies necessarily didn't deserve to be nominated, but I guess a couple movies, Trolls didn't make the cut. Do you think it should have made the cut out of like I've seen the Red Turtle, which I was on. I'm halfway through Kubo right now, and the Two Strings. But so far, like Zootopia has taken it for me.
Yeah.
So what would you? So you would say that too. So what would you? So would you say that maybe? Like again, we both haven't seen My Life as a Zucchini. It sounds stupid, but hey, I mean, some of those times those movies are great. Yeah. But so should you think should you? I guess the question is, do you think Troll should have been on the list?
No.
Like for animated
Maybe
feature.
I haven't seen the Red Turtle, so I don't know about that. But most of those films, I look at it and I'm like, Trolls was cute. It was fun. It was a lot of fun. I think it was one of the better comedies I've seen all year.
Yeah.
I don't think in terms of the animation part of it, it was up to par with those films.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah. Fair enough. I'd have to think of a comedy myself that came out this year that I think the only one I can think of is more of a dramedy again, and that would be The Fundamentals of Caring with Paul Rudd.
Yep.
And but it was really good. Like it's about a guy who has to take this guy with muscular dystrophy on a road trip. He doesn't have to; he volunteers to. Yeah. But there's a couple of good funny scenes. It would almost be more of a. It's almost actually probably more on the comedy side than on the drama side, because like there's a really quick line that he says as he goes, because he has muscular dystrophy, he can't really move, right? Yeah. So he goes, "So how would you wipe my ass?" He asked Paul Rudd, right? Yeah. And Paul Rudd goes, "I would wipe your ass in such a way that there would be no shit on your ass." He's like, "Hire him," and he hires him or whatever. Yeah. But like, and there's an underlying story about Paul Rudd and his son that is no longer around. Spoiler alert, I won't say why, but I don't know why I said spoiler alert when I didn't say. But anyway, I would save it. I'll save it for you guys. So just go and watch it. It's on Netflix. But yeah, there's no really comedy that stands out for me this year.
No, comedy they need, I think comedy needs a fresh injection of ideas.
Yeah, like what I think, like back in the, I'm not trying to be like back in the day, but you know when Jim Carrey would do physical comedy, and I'm not saying he's like he's an overactor for a reason, but like, for example, his role as Truman in The Truman Show.
Yes.
I think he should have been at least nominated for
that. He should have definitely. That was, I think, there's only two movies, he has had some pretty good movies over his career, some classic performances everybody remembers before. There are only two movies I think he even gets close to an Oscar conversation with. Truman Show. Yeah. And Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind.
Oh yeah, fuck! I totally forgot about that. Did he get nominated? No, he didn't get nominated.
No, he didn't get nominated for that.
He should have. He was really excellent. That movie's great. Every time someone mentions that, I'm like, that's a great freaking show.
There's only two movies I look at with him doing, like, a quasi straight performance, and that's those two, and those are the only two. Right. I mean, when he overacts, it works. When it's the right, there are times like Mr. Popper's Penguins where it's just bleh, whatever. Yeah, really. But Dumb and Dumber or Ace Ventura or hell, even The Cable Guy.
Yeah, that's if you look at that movie in a different way, if you look at it if you don't go into it thinking it's a Jim Carrey movie and you go into it thinking it's a serious movie, it kind of changes the tone a little bit. Like, this guy is a freaking psycho. You know what I mean? Like if The Cable Guy Jim Carrey was played by a different person, I don't know, like Kevin Spacey or something, you would probably be like, shit, this guy's a fucking psychopath. But it's actually kind of an underrated movie in a lot of ways. I'm not saying it's the greatest movie, but it's underrated in certain ways. But I know what you mean when it comes to that. I just think, and also Robin Williams, of course. Yeah. In my opinion, I don't know what other movies have come out that year, but I think he should have been nominated for his role as Mrs. Doubtfire, because not only does that show his comedic side, obviously, that's what it is, but it shows the heartfelt side and all this stuff. I'm not saying he should have won necessarily, but I don't know, I think he should have been nominated for that.
I look at comedy and I think if it's the same kind of Jennifer Aniston, Katherine Heigl style comedy, I definitely lose interest very quickly. Right. But if you're actually putting something else into it, if you're playing with an idea and you do it for comedic effect, comedy can work. You just, when you're trying too hard to make a comedy, it doesn't work. Two great films that I think, one maybe bordering pushing too hard, but the other one hit it on the head, was Sausage Party. That's the one that's pushing maybe a little too hard, but still works. And Deadpool. Oh yeah. Yeah, really,
So a lot of people actually, I think a lot of actors too actually have voiced their opinion and said, I think Ryan Reynolds should be up here.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people, like almost every person I've talked to and or have seen has liked, like on social media or actors, actresses have liked Deadpool.
Yeah.
I don't think there's been a movie in such a long time that a comedy movie and a superhero movie that everybody has universally loved.
And that's another example, like, of what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Deadpool is, trying to do something different and do something another story. It's a superhero movie.
Of course.
Most other superheroes, even if they have comedy in them, aren't written as a comedy.
Right.
This movie is written intentionally to be funny.
Exactly.
On top of all the superhero-y things that go on in it.
Yeah.
And, it's the hard R-rated comedy, so you get your fucks and your shits and your gory shit and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
But it's playing with comedy, twisting it so you're not getting the same thing. Because in any form of anything, if you tell the same joke 100 times, it's going to get boring. If you tell a joke from a different perspective, if you pop in a joke in a time nobody expected it, then it works. It really works.
And again, and I'm going to say it, and he has hit and misses, and I'm a huge fan of his, and I always glorify his work, but I think Kevin Smith does that in a lot of his movies. Like, I mean, like, he'll bring in the frickin' stupid shit. Like, he'll have Jay tuck his wiener in and dance to, Goodbye Horses and whatever, but at the same time, he sneaks that just, like, something you expect, but you don't. Like when him and Randall have that conversation, like, don't leave me, man. Like, you're my best friend. I love you and all that. And it's just like, directors who can do that sort of thing are what, they should be nominated. They should be brought to their attention. And the problem with, and I've also found this out, like, with Oscar stuff, is that a lot of the Academy hasn't seen a lot of these movies.
No, they won't. They turn their nose. A lot of them turn their nose up at a lot of comedies,
and it really pisses me off. Like, maybe we should start. Okay, maybe we shouldn't get everybody a voting ballot or whatever, but there's got to be some way that we can have it so it's voiced by the people. Mm-hmm. Maybe I don't know. I can't even say Rotten Tomatoes is a reliable source either.
No, it's not either.
Like, it's really hard. Like, because I mean, all these Oscar people are doing is, okay, I like this. This looks like it's gonna win. I've never seen it, but I'm gonna nominate them, and then they win, right? And somehow, and it is an achievement to win an Oscar, but at the same time, is it really if they're just not even paying attention to it? Like, undeserving movies. Like, I'm not saying necessarily Deadpool deserves to win Best Picture, but I think Ryan Reynolds deserves a nod.
I think so. I think, like, the work that I think that movie, even in the special effects, for everything they did in that movie.
Yeah, really, alone, they should have been nominated for special effects.
Because you also consider their budget. Most of the special effects movies had budgets 4, 5, 6 times what Deadpool's budget is. And Deadpool, in a lot of cases, they use their special effects in really subtle, smart ways. Like his mask.
Yeah.
Like, because underneath a mask, it's hard to emote under that mask.
Yeah, exactly. Like when he goes, like when Francis gets away, he's like, and his eyes go wide or whatever. He's like, he's just like, what did you do? Or whatever. Like, and that's what I really enjoyed that. And yeah, like in certain subtle ways like that, it definitely enhances the performance. Right?
Yeah. So, I think the 2 categories they should add. I still think they could cut, even if they had only one of these, I'm fine. But they should cut out the sound mixing and sound editing because it almost sounds like the same fucking category. Yeah. It's all the same movies that get nominated for both. Mix them together and just make a sound. You have one movie that has an amazing sound to it.
Yeah, exactly.
And then open that spot up for either best comedy or I think there should be best horror too, because last year was an amazing year for horror.
Fair enough, you know what I mean? So it's because, I mean, what should happen is they should take like all the technical awards, and I'm not saying those people don't deserve to win, but do we really need to see us, and again this sounds dickish, but do we need to see like televised of sound editing, mixing, costume design, all this stuff? Like, this could be given away at the other ceremonies. Like, I think actually some of the more important awards that they give that they give before the Oscars start should actually be shown more than some of the ones that are actually shown at the Oscars. Some of them. So I mean, I'm not saying we don't need to know who won. It'd be great to still know who won because people are deserving. But we still need that buffer of, okay, well, maybe we should put in some categories that are more relevant and make more sense. Like you say, your best comedy, your best horror. I mean, you could do every category, but like you have to go like for genres that don't normally get, I wouldn't say normally get nominated, but just that are recognizable. You know what I mean?
And that's at some point. Then you start to look. Some of the other award shows hit on those. Like you look at the Teen Choice Awards, for example, has best baddie, so the best villain in a movie,
best first kiss, whatever.
Yeah, so things like that. You get those little silly things, but I think with the big granddaddy award show of them all, there should be some categories for more diverse range. Because if
go ahead. I just thought something. I had an apostrophe.
You had an apostrophe? I think you mean an epiphany.
Lightning just struck my brain.
That must have hurt. No,
anyway, yeah.
I was just going to repeat myself. You go ahead.
No, all I was saying is maybe there should be not only Best Picture, but maybe there should be People's Choice Best Picture.
Yeah, that would be an
like you put in like, okay, guess what, everybody? We're voting on the Oscars. Any movie's on the table. Absolutely any movie is on the table.
It doesn't have to be one that's nominated in... there's a Critics' Choice and a People's Choice.
Critics and People's Choice, you have them in the Oscars. The critics will pick their flaw-dee-da-dee-da stuff, and then us will pick what we want. If it happens to be the so-called flaw-dee-da movies, or if it happens to be something that, people just didn't think of nominating, so what? We loved it.
Yeah. If that... we have to fit this in somewhere. If this award was around, do you think The Dark Knight would have won it?
I think so. I think so because people really love that movie, and it was a big hit that year, and that's all they were talking about. And because Heath Ledger won posthumously, I think they would have. I'm not saying they would have given it to him just cause, but definitely I think that would have been a push. I think that year they would have won. I think they would have won that. So, but that's our Oscar episode. We have a lot to discuss and a lot to bring up, but. I mean, voice off in the comments what you guys think. We'd love to hear it. Next time we're back, we're going to try to hopefully discuss the shorts we watch.
The shorts are probably my favorite category.
Yeah, actually, they're one of my favorites too because, I used to kind of like shrug them off, but after watching a lot of them, they're just, we watched some of them tonight and they were awesome, so... Yeah, a lot of them are on... I'll just do a quick little shout out to ones that are available for free on YouTube. I don't know if I should, because maybe they'll pull them off, but hopefully not. That is Pearl. It's on there. Just search for Pearl, and also search for Joe's Violin. That one was really, really good.
Yeah, Joe's Violin. That's a documentary short.
Yeah,
really
it's a documentary short. Really good. But yeah, I guess we'll just leave it at that. Until next time, I'm Big Mike.
I'm Justin Fergie-Ferguson.
And grab your popcorn, folks. It's Oscar month.